Guys, I've been saying it for a very, very long time, and you've heard it for a while as well. And it is, Shiranui is better than Luard. And today basically confirms it, because we've seen every single card released now. And yeah, Shiranui just feels like every card they got is just better than every card that Luard got. If we want to put it into a more meta term, right? Let's say, you know, Luard is LNG and like Shiranui is like SKT, right? And SKT just 3-0'd LNG. It even works, right? Shiranui starts with an S, so does SKT, right? LNG starts with an L, so does Luard. Yeah, 3-0'd LNG. I mean, Luard. So Shiranui doing very, very well. When I was talking about the positive sides about Luard Stride deck, I went like, you know what? At least the Luard deck was you know, it's like complete for a newbie, right? You buy it and you have pretty much a deck that just functions very, very well. But guess what? Shiranui functions even better. It's actually insane. So let's look at the 3 cards that they revealed today. And then we'll kind of have a big wrap up after this. But I think the spoiler's already here that Shiranui is probably the better of the two. But even so, I think Luard will probably sell more because Luard. But anyway, we've got Tenrei here. So Stealth Dragon Tenrei. So when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Demon Stealth Dragon Shiranui Oboro Crest, you can counterblast 1 and draw a card. So that's already I think that's already better than what Luard got. It has a +1. Okay, and you're like, okay, it's like a CB1 draw on. That's whatever, right? You know, you need a CB1 and draw on. How is that good? Well, you can play this. There's no GB restriction, so you can play it the moment you have 1 CB. And overall, like, the deck itself doesn't use that much CB anyway, so it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good. It has a second effect though, so when the attack by a unit dominated by you hits, you may return this to hand. So, you know, you dominate something, it hits, you bounce this, you play it again, and get more draws. So I don't know, man. I feel like that's already pretty good. But next we have let's look at the second card reveal. We have 3 cards revealed today. We have Furai, so you might remember Furai from a while ago. This one has a con skill where, you know, when it gets 5k for each time a unit dominated by you attacked this turn. It doesn't even hit, it just needs to attack. So this guy can become a big chunky boy. And the second effect is GB1. When your Vanguard attacks, if a unit dominated by you attack this turn, Soul Blast 1 and stand this unit. So in this Stride deck, right, we already have 2 restanders. We have Sekie from before that can restand, and it also draws you cards for the same cost as this one. And this one is just a restander, but it gets fat, right? On your first, I think on your first Stride turn, for example, with this guy, you can do the on-stride effect of Oboro. So that's one. That's like one attack, and then your Mugen Tenbu can do another attack. That's 2 attacks. This guy gets like plus 10k by its own effect already. But then because you have a face-up card now because of the Mugen Tenbu, like an extra G-Zone card, it's like 25 by itself. So I don't know. That seems pretty good. It seems pretty strong, and it restands, right? It restands. So you're pushing a lot of damage, right? And then lastly, we have the Mukuro, and this one. You require, people have been talking about the stride cost. You do require Demon Stealth Dragon, so the other Stealth Dragon that you have, the other Shiranui that you get, which is pretty much the discard on stride draw clone. That one doesn't work. But the main effect here is the GB2, which only requires a Soul Blast 1 now, right? Only a Soul Blast 1. And then you choose one of your opponent's rearguards, you stand it and dominate it, and then it attacks your opponent's vanguard. And then at the end of the battle, you stand and dominate all of your opponent's vanguards, and they attack your opponent's rearguard. So, although this isn't specified in, you know, with plurals and all that in Japanese, it does mean only 1 attack, right? You only attack one thing. You don't attack the whole field like the old Mukuro did. But you do get the drive checks. You don't. The cost has been reduced somewhat, right? You do get an extra dominate attack from this because your rearguard gets to attack first. And then this attacks. So overall, I think the trade is pretty good. Lower costs, getting more attacks, always nice. Getting extra drive checks. If you stand Drag Vader as well, based on rulings, isn't 100% confirmed yet. You can stand your opponent's Vanguard and then get another attack as long as there's another rearguard there. So you can actually plus an insane amount. And then after that, you still have your multi-attacks that's like that's your Sekie or your Furai to just kind of push more damage. So already like this deck is kind of doing it all, right? It's getting, it's retiring, it's getting advantage, it has multi-attack. It's basically everything you want from a deck. So the other thing that people have been talking about is maybe the early game is pretty bad. Well, I think there's a lot of ways to solve it. Brachio Force is one way to do it. Your Shoujo Doji grade 2 can be run in the ride line instead. That one doesn't, your ride line grade 2 doesn't need to be the ride line grade 2, like the Shiranui grade 2. It can be any grade 2. The requirements of the stride license in the fighters rules only the 0, 1, and 3 actually. So that's what a lot of people have been doing. They've been putting in the Shoujo Doji grade 2 to kind of build a soul and also just get an extra card to attack with. But I think is a pretty interesting idea, right? I think through some testing, we'll have to see if it's correct or not, or you can still run whatever. I think it's Genkai, right? Genkai will always confirm that you can get the on-stride effect off, so you get the extra attack. So I feel like both are correct, but I just feel like when I look at this deck, right, you know, you have both strides are relatively okay, but Mukuro just being actually very good. And then, you know, you compare that with Drag Strider, I don't know. Drag Strider is kind of meme. But then you look at the other multi, I guess like the nice thing about Luard is you'll kind of consistently always get your multi-attack going. While with Mukuro, you kind of have to, with Shiranui, you kind of have to draw the pieces. But I think the trade-off is like already pretty good still, because even if you don't draw the pieces, you still have like your 2 dominate attacks and then 3 more attacks, right? But like but when you do draw your pieces, your ceiling is like way higher. You get like 7 attacks. There's your Vanguard, triple drive triggers like Drag Vader. Like none of these multi-attack dudes are even, you know, once per turn restricted. So you can get an insane amount of attacks. And then, sure, they use a lot of soul, but it's not like you don't have ways to generate soul. You have things like Forktail that can help you generate soul. One of your cards from the strike, Dexec, also generates soul. I think it's Zanke. So if we look at here, when your unit attack hits, you can soul charge 1. And then, you know, there's other things you can do, like Dragon Empire has, you know, an discard on discard, you can put it into soul kind of card. So there is, it's not insanely impossible to build soul. Soul will probably be the limiting factor here, but it's should be pretty manageable, right? You just have to build your deck a bit properly. And you know, the best part about this deck is that it's not like keyword restricted. If you look at Luard, a lot of your cards needs to be ritual, because you want to build a more ritual deck, and then some of your cards search for only ritual cards. This one really doesn't have that problem. Its condition is just that if a dominated unit attacks, which is pretty easy to pull off because, you know, your deck just naturally does that. So you can just run a lot of Dragon Empire generics to make it all work. So personally, I think the Shiranui Stride deck set is better. And I've been saying this for a very long time because IQ 6000, man. But also the Luard deck set is definitely gonna sell, right? This is actually why Schwartz logic when you put it like that. Like, why Schwartz logic? What is this logic? Well, if your series is hyper popular, then you know, it's probably gonna be on the weaker side. While, you know, if a set that no one knows of comes out, it's probably gonna be broken because, you know, Richard wants you to buy that product. So yeah, that's pretty much it. More people know Luard, more people like Luard more. So it's gonna sell. That's why Shiranui is the stronger one, right? And if you guys say SAO is like just OP at the moment, well, that's because SAO is like 20 billion sets, so it has to be OP. But yeah, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys all think. I'm actually pretty hyped about Shiranui. We're already getting to like the rulings knowledge. One of the funniest things I read is that if your Mukuro dominates Greedon and they're on 6 damage, they just auto die because they don't have the Greedon effect anymore, so they lose. So yeah, that's pretty funny. I find that hilarious. So the dominate rulings are back. They're probably less confusing than before, but we'll see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. All right.